Annalese to my left, Brian to her left. We're here today to talk about everything blockchain and gaming. What's going on, you guys?
What's up? What's up? Hey guys, how are you guys doing? It's a new week. We're going into October. I think is this the last week of September? No, next week's the last week of September. It's a half
Yeah,
week
we're getting
though,
there
so
though. Summer's
pretty.
over.
Yeah, I know. Almost the end of the year. Trick or treating's canceled this year though, so if you have kids, I'm sorry.
I know a lot of people that are going to be upset about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. This year's been kind of a shit show, but it is what it is. Let's move on into the news because there has been a lot. Last week, Wednesday, was the Facebook Connect. Used to be Oculus Connect, now it's Facebook Connect as the entire industry went from Oculus to Facebook Reality Labs. And they had their long presentation of everything new with the Oculus devices, as well as all the things that the Reality Labs has been working on with augmented reality. Have you guys gotten a chance to check out some of the new stuff?
Yeah, I got to look at most of it, at least like the AR, their what they call it, like testing glasses. They're very alpha, 0 point whatever version AR glasses that they're working on. I really like the concept. Very curious how they plan on working that out, considering it's from Facebook, and uh, I'm sure it'll be some sort of operating system or whatever that they come up with and whatnot. But I'm very excited, and then definitely plan on getting a Quest 2 probably right when it comes out, if not pre-ordering it right beforehand.
Would you believe that the Quest 2 is already sold out? You can already pre-order it. It's done. They're already on back order, and they don't think that there's going to be a new set until like January.
Yikes! Sounds like you missed out, Brian.
I
Yeah,
pre-ordered mine
but
instantly.
with that $100 cutback price, doesn't surprise me that a lot of people are trying to get in on it as soon as possible. Though I have been hearing quite a few people on Facebook talk about reasons why they plan on holding off on it and maybe want to wait for like the next version afterwards
Really?
and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know, various reasons. Just like the
Number
fact
one
that,
has to be the battery.
well, I mean, a lot of it was like the strap and like just kind of the look of it, comparing it to like a Go, like the
The
Oculus Go,
strap,
kind of more like,
really?
yeah, like the back strap, and just kind of like the overall build quality and
They purposely went with a really cheap, flimsy strap, knowing that like for some people that strap is all they need, but for others that are hardcore gamers, they're gonna most likely buy the Elite strap. There's an Elite strap and an Elite Plus battery strap, which will give you an extended battery to counterweight the headset.
yeah,
Interesting.
well, it's selling it at a base price, and then you got all these accessories right off the bat, $50, $30, face plates and
Try
straps and whatnot.
$140 for that battery pack, and it comes with a traveling case.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, either way, that's still cheaper than the what was it, 128 gig version of the Quest when it first came out at 500. So,
That is true.
all in all, I don't think
You get
that's
a
terrible.
smaller, lighter headset with with the extended battery. I think it equals out to the same price. More memory. No, well, no, because the memory on the 299 version of the Quest 2 is only 64 gigabytes, so not really equivalent. But I get what your point is. It's a great buy regardless
Hmm.
if you are somebody that is using the Oculus Link and don't need to worry about that 2 hour battery life. But for the average user, Facebook is saying that most people only play the Quest 1 for 90 minutes at a time.
Yeah, that's about what I go for at that. I mean, after that point, that's a pretty much a full charge on it. You'd either have to have it plugged in, as you said, with the Oculus Link to get the extended time, at which case you're already using a PC with it, or you have to get some sort, like plug it in a like 15-foot cord and then like play tethered with it in the wall or get a battery pack or something, and then you have to start, messing with everything. So the fact that it's already selling, with a battery pack right out the door with the better quality, the better resolution, I should say. Some people are talking about a little bit of issues with like the IPD adjuster and whatnot, since it's got the 3 predetermined sets as opposed to the actual manual adjuster that the Quest 1 has, and just other bits like that. But also just to
Let's break that
clarify,
down.
yeah,
I was gonna,
yeah, I just wanted to mention earlier for like anyone listening in that at least currently, as from this point on, straight from their site, it is out of stock for the original 13th of October release. However, if you go to pre-order it, which you still can directly from Oculus, their estimated delivery is the 3rd of November, so less than a month delay outside of the original release date, which isn't too bad, as opposed to something like January or later on in the year. As far as any other retailers go, obviously that's up in the air, but yeah,
yeah, I think
definitely a
other
lot of people are
retailers
excited
like
for it.
going to stores are sold out till January, but it sounds like Oculus is banging them out and getting them out as fast as they can. So November
Yeah, I
3rd,
can
election
imagine
day,
with
not bad.
the stop in production of the Quest. I assume that's been going on for quite a while, considering their out of stock shortage. I'd hope that they've been spending that time, producing and trying to manufacture as many Quest 2s as they can, considering the amount of people trying to get a Quest 1 and then not being able to get their hands on it and then waiting and then releasing this. That was like the one thing I was thinking about, like these consoles, with the Switch being like what, $400, $500, and the Quest 1 being out of stock, and them already selling out of the Quest 2, and the production of most things, halting quite a bit. Very curious how they're gonna keep up with demand, especially with this $300 price point, because that is definitely an attention getter as far as trying to onboard these people into VR for those that haven't tried it yet or maybe are a little bit skeptical about getting a headset, don't want to spend too much money on one.
Absolutely. So I see we got some new people that are joining us here in Altspace. Welcome, everybody. This is the Futurist Podcast. For those that are watching the live stream, you guys have the option to come and join us in Altspace. Check out Altspace VR. You can go to the website, install the app, and come join us. Right now, we're talking about last week's Facebook Connect, where they announced the Quest 2, as well as a bunch of other products that they've been working on. We touched a little bit about some of the specs and the stuff that's going on in the Quest 2, but one of the things we didn't touch on was the fact that the Quest 2 is coming with Wi-Fi 6. I think that's really interesting. So if anybody has, Wi-Fi in the home, you probably have seen like the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz network. We're now moving on to the 6 gigahertz network, which Oculus Quest is 2 already has built in, which is going to allow it to be able to most likely in the future do a wireless link setup. So if anybody currently is using the link cable to be able to plug into their PC, we might see one day in the future next year where you can just wirelessly connect to your PC and play your PC games without needing to plug it in, which I think will be fantastic because I am fed up with trying to do all of this maneuvering of the cable and having things hold the pulley cables to hold my cable in the air and not get in the way. So being able to use the wireless form factor of the Oculus Quest but still be able to play my PC VR games will be phenomenal. Can't wait.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I know right now it's over what, like 5G or otherwise. I know when I've tried to do like the virtual desktop, I think I used RiftCat for my wireless endeavor to play PC VR on the Quest. And yeah, with our Wi-Fi setup at least, it's definitely a challenge. I tried playing Gorn because that is definitely a title that is more suited to wireless, even though it's not currently out on the Quest, but is rumored to be coming very soon, probably to the Quest 2. But nonetheless, even directly next to my router, the Wi-Fi was very shoddy, and I very aware the fact that some people have really good internet, other people maybe can't afford it or aren't in an area that has good service or a good provider, or maybe it's just too expensive where they live, or whatever the case may be. So hopefully something like this is going to kind of make it a little bit more, easier, kind of like playing Xbox or PlayStation, where, it's just, it's still smooth, just straight over Wi-Fi and actually playable. And yeah, I'm very excited. The technology is definitely advancing. And what about this idea of the Quest being similar to smartphones, considering the fact that the first one came out about a year and a half ago, the Go released like a year before it. Now we have the Quest 2 with the serialized kind of thing, especially with the discontinuation of the Rift S as well as the Quest. Do you guys think that we're going to be seeing something like this, like a new release with like mild, moderate upgrades to the specs every year or every like year and a half type of deal, kind of like we see with smartphones, or where do you guys see this going?
Possibly. I mean, the Quest 1 came out a year and a half ago. From
Hmm.
John Carmack's talk, they were aiming for the Quest 2 to come out earlier this year, but it wasn't ready yet, so they're aiming for the holidays and, coming out at October 13th. I don't think that's a bad target date. So about a
No,
year and
not
a
at
half.
all. Like 2 months before Christmas, definitely a good year to get in, or a good time to get into the year to sell out.
Absolutely. So I think that if they keep that trend, maybe 2022 in the middle of the year, we might have the Oculus 3. It's possible that they could possibly get it out there but before in 2021, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a upgrade unless they wait a little bit longer. So we'll see. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen as they get the newer set of XR the VR chipset. I know that they surprisingly was able to get that new chip in the Quest 2 just in the nick of time. So I'm really curious to see what the time frame is going to be. But since we're already talking about virtual reality, let's talk about some VR games. There's been a lot of games coming out recently. One of the games that I'm really excited for comes out this Friday. Been waiting for it for the longest. It's called Solaris Off-World Combat. I'm really excited for this first person shooter. It's PvP game, four on four. You guys can go check out some of the YouTube videos. BMF and a bunch of the top VR game streamers have been playing Solaris all this week and doing a bunch of videos. I'm really excited to check that out on Friday. So if you guys come out and check out VR Game Night this Friday, if you pick up Solaris, you can join me. I'll be live streaming as we play Solaris Off-World Combat.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And then I saw as well we got the official scoop of the, upcoming release of both the Climb 2 and Population 1, which I know I have personally been looking forward to for quite a while, at least a year now. I know it was expected to release on the Quest some time ago, and now we're obviously seeing it on the, official box for the Quest 2. So a little bit later than they were originally planning. But I still think it's quite relevant. There's still many, many battle royales going on, and the way they have it set up, I think, is definitely going to stand out. I know there's a lot of people that have been, like myself and probably both of you guys, looking forward to for some time, as well as the fact that I don't remember, one of like the two or however many, not standout, but I don't know, one of the other battle royales on Steam, and I don't know, it's like just there's not a lot of active users in some of those. I'm not sure the exact reason why. The content was pretty good. It was a little bit laggy on my system, but I also don't have the greatest gaming PC. But yeah, I think this one is going to do quite well. With the climbing up the side of buildings, the vibrant colors, the flying and gliding around, and the building aspects, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I believe
Yeah, the Climb
it's
2
what
definitely looks like a good game to get, so I'm excited about that one as well.
I saw on the store page. It still says single player. I really wish they'd add some sort of like co-op or multiplayer mode on it. I think that would definitely drag in a lot more players to actually purchase it. I know it's like the one thing that's been stopping me versus like Climby, or some of the other like mini games in VR chat and whatever in Altspace, where you go and climb up these giant skyscraper buildings, and you can do it with friends and whatnot, because it's a beautiful game and it's very vibrant, but it's just, I don't know, it seems very lonely, especially for $30 to just go and climb on the mountainside. I'm sure it's definitely worth it for the workout and the scenery, but I definitely think they're missing a huge opportunity by not including some sort of multiplayer aspect to it.
Speaking of multiplayer, next month we're gonna get multiplayer Beat Saber. I'm so excited.
Yes. 5-person back-to-back. I just started getting back into it today, for just the activity, and it's been, I don't know, at least a month, almost two, since I've dipped my toes into it. And now that multiplayer's coming, you need to, grease
Step
the
my
wheels and
game
get
up.
myself back into it. Yeah, to
I hear you, brother. I'm gonna play some later on today too. So let's move on from VR. So much VR news. I'll jump into cloud gaming news. There's been a bunch of new releases, both on GeForce Now as well as Google Stadia. Uh, both services really scaling up. We also had the full official commercial release of Microsoft's Project Xcloud. I think they're dropping the project, and now it's just called Xcloud. Dropped on September 15th. From what I'm hearing, even with the official release, there's still a lot of bugs. It's still dropping, a lot of frame rate drops. It's not the best service, but supposedly it's due to the fact that it's running on a bunch of Xbox One X's, and that come next year they're going to do a performance upgrade by switching from the One X to the Series X. So we'll see if that creates a significant difference. I might actually just check it out just to see if it's worth my time. There was a bunch of games on Xbox xCloud that I really want to finish, but it wasn't bearable on the connection. And I have a fast internet, and I just could not do it. Watched a lot of other YouTubers who also have a really fast internet. People that got Google Fiber's 2 gigabit speed still couldn't play it. I was like, nah, it's not your internet, guys. It's Microsoft. Their service is trash. So hopefully they upgrade it and it gets better. I'd love to go back and check it out. Another service that's out there that's been trying to now step up and realizing, oh crap, we were the first one to get here and everybody else is surpassing up. PlayStation Now. They've been out for stupid long. They bought 2 of the oldest cloud services, Gaikai and OnLive, and they're still at the bottom when it comes to cloud gaming. I got on this weekend, tried some games, tried some Red Dead Redemption 1 on PS Now. So much of a lag. I have a really good internet speed. I know it ain't me. Their service sucks. PlayStation, Microsoft, fix your cloud services. All right, enough of the cloud streaming news. Moving on from that, what's going on with blockchain gaming?
Yeah, they got a few things going on. First of all, we have Pizza Heroes having their closed beta start. I think it says, yep, October 1st. That one's been in development for quite a while now, at least a year. I've been watching it. I don't remember exactly which blockchain it's on. I believe Tron. I could be wrong about that. It is an action multiplayer team arena game, and it's very interesting. The graphics look good and the combat looks good, but a lot of the characters is just, I don't know, I find it very unique. They're all kind of like furry looking, like hybrid animal people, animated character like creatures, and I don't know, it seems
It's
interesting.
yeah.
It's very odd. They put a lot of aspects on like the character customization, and it's very vibrant, and like I said, the gameplay looks pretty good. I'm very
Before
excited to
you
try it.
move
hmm
on to the next game, Annalese, I know you had some really cool people here this week, the last couple of weeks, so for your Crypto Mondays, as well as next week's Mondays event. Can you tell us a little bit about the blockchain gaming speakers you've had?
Yeah, so this week I had Mandel Duck. He is a contributor for ZBD or Zebedee, if you're from England, which is a company that focuses on building beta games and inhibiting micropayments into games. So basically, picking up Satoshis while you play. And right now they have a bunch of battle royale events for a game called Mint Gox. So it's for their Bitcoin Rally, I think it's called the game. And basically, you go around playing a game kind of like Mario Kart, and you collect Satoshis, and it kind of speeds up your cart. So while you play, you collect Bitcoin. The second game that I'll be interviewing next week is going to be Satoshi Games, the founder of Satoshi Games, which is Carlos. And he is a contributor for Light Night. Light Night is a very highly anticipated game in the space right now. A lot of people are waiting for Light Night to officially come out. But basically, Light Night is like Fortnite, but on the blockchain, and you also earn Bitcoin while you play. So, just that.
Exciting stuff. Can't wait. Some great talks over the last couple of weeks. Keep doing the good stuff. All right, Brian, what other blockchain games we got?
Yeah, as far as blockchain gaming news, we have the first annual NFT Awards coming up soon, December 9th. It is organized by Engine and DEA. Don't know exactly who they are. I don't know if either of you have heard of that project before.
Nope.
But yeah, this is the first ever Non-Fungibles Award. It'll be streamed officially from their Twitch channel. I'm going to assume the Engine channel. Yeah, it's got nomination process, a whole bunch of people. Sony's, let's say, former CEO, counselor to the Bank of Japan, lead of the Microsoft Azure development engagement, and manager of the Azure Heroes Initiative. So some from Microsoft, Sony, a bunch of high-end people. Very interested. Didn't know either of those projects were even considering getting into the blockchain space. Probably unrelated directly to them, but nonetheless, still high-end people joining in, and from Engine. So it's definitely going to be something with awards that probably have like a few thousand Engine coins minted, or like one of a kind, like special, like I don't know, 3D awards, or tokens or something like that. Curious what they're gonna pull off for that.
That's really cool. NFT awards. I think that's a great idea. I really can't wait to see some of the NFTs that are coming out. Sounds like with Engine, that's going to be mainly gaming based, but I would love to see some like NFT awards for some crypto art. There's a lot of really cool crypto art out there, and one of my friends that's a regular artist, she participated in my Art Basel event last year. She actually just got into crypto art this year, so if you guys want to go check out Lover Worldwide, LUVR Worldwide. She's now a crypto artist, and she's been doing a lot of virtual reality crypto art. So I think that's really neat. You could check her out on Rarible. Yeah, so I think that's a really good idea of doing a NFT award show. So really hope to see more award shows both in the gaming and art space, as well as more amazing games coming out that incorporate Bitcoin and blockchain technology. I see we got a bunch of new people that just came in the room. Welcome, everybody. If you guys have any questions, hit the raise hand button. Let us know. We'll gladly give you guys a chance to, drop some knowledge, or let us know what you guys want to know. Looks like we
Yeah, for
actually
sure.
have
I got one more article, if I may, before we move on
Yeah,
from the
go for
crypto
it.
gaming. As far as that goes, Decentraland, definitely a big game since its release. Their governance has gone live, so that means that the landowners and the mana token holders can now vote and take part in the game's critical decisions. So I assume sort of like a staking system as far as the voting goes. And I assume that the critical decisions are going to be like, aesthetic features, or like structures, buildings, things they incorporated in to make it more of like an actual society, through virtual means. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to try to implement that, and how far those freedoms are going to go to the players, what types of things that they're able to vote on, and if the players themselves can, like elect things to be voted on, as far as things to get built or demolished, or events, or whatever, goes on in the world, really. Either you guys have any comments on that?
No, it sounds interesting though. But I see we got a couple of hands raised, so I want to give them the chance to ask their questions before we end this show. All right, Brian Cross, see your hand first. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the mic. Brian,
Can you hear me?
I can.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Just wanted to say thank you for having this meeting. You know, it's the first time I've been to it. I work on a myriad of technology, real world VR kind of collaboration, cross communication stuff. I wouldn't want to go into it all now, it's a little deep. But maybe I'll save it for the next meeting y'all have. But is this meeting more about VR and crypto stuff and gaming, or is it more just futurist technology in general?
Everything, all of the above. So I see the best way to educate people about blockchain is through gaming. Just having fun, making it as educational as possible. It can be boring to some people, setting up a wallet, going through all of those steps. It's not all that engaging. So making it fun and making it so that way the tech is kind of hidden in the background is one of the best ways to really get people involved in the blockchain space and really grow adoption. But all sorts of tech is welcome. We talk about like cloud gaming. I really am interested in that technology as well, with Google Stadia and NVIDIA GeForce, all of these different platforms that are out there. And it sounds like we have some background noise.
It might be me. I don't know. Let me just make sure my mic is the right one. Stand by. Sorry about that. I was just more like, yeah, I think it's good. I was just more about like, I use technology and art together to sort of help create visual stuff, either sculpture, VR, or whatever the medium is, to help digest really complex scientific idea, like quantum physics and things like that, and make it more fun. So, I really appreciate what you guys are talking about, and the blockchain is very important now, especially for the way our future is going. Do you guys have this meeting weekly or?
Yes, every week at 8 p.m. we're right back here talking about what's going on in the news. You guys can come learn about what's going on in blockchain, some of the new games, hear about the speakers we're going to have coming up. And Annalese was just talking about Light Night, which is a Fortnite-like game that's on the blockchain where as you kill people, you earn Bitcoin. She'll have that speaker here on Monday, so definitely come check that out. Wednesdays and Fridays, we play video games in here. You can watch the games on the big screen. And there's a lot of events we do throughout the week.
And if I'd like to talk to you offline about it, but just how you get about being a speaker here. And I hear a lot about gaming and blockchain, but I'd love to talk about real-time experience, interactive and immersive environment with sculpture, cross-communication with different culture, using technology outside of the arena.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to talk more about that when you have a moment.
Yeah, hang tight.
Cool.
Absolutely. I got another question. Umberto, let me go ahead and give the mic to Umberto. Umberto, if you can hear me, you got the mic.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear. I think you just muted yourself. You were coming through.
Okay, now you can hear me back, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, one thing, I don't think anybody has, of course, the definitive answer to this question, but I especially like, Facebook Connect last year, where actually the aim probably of Facebook, or at least Facebook VR, is to connect people irrespective of their environment, or where they are. And I mean, actually, the ideal vision for a kind of the ultimate goal that they showed some footage about it is that you just put your IR glasses and you have actually a perfect reconstruction that looks real of your environment. And you can see your friend that maybe is in Japan or maybe is in China sitting on your couch with reality-like qualities. You just put the glass and it seems real to you. And, you can speak with them.
I started hearing at the beginning of the question, but it started getting choppy. It sounded like you were asking a bit about Facebook's Aria project, which is the glasses you were talking about. That is the augmented reality program. It allows you to, see people that are near you, stuff like that. There's other.
I think it's the future of I think it's the future. I think it's the future. Yeah, with AR glasses, at the end, the ultimate goal is that just you see your friends that are thousands of miles away, exactly next to you, and it's very very hard to distinguish it from reality, right? So this next level of communication. I just wanted to ask you, where do you think this is going to come about? How many years from now? And second, if actually the widespread adoption of VR is going to happen, if VR is really going to get to the masses, because my perception is that everybody's going to say, okay, people are going to use VR, and it's true up to a certain extent. But I think people were expecting much more people to use VR at this point in time than the ones that are actually using it. So
Believe it or
going
not,
slower.
right now AR is bigger than VR. Because there's a lot of AR things, and don't forget Apple also came out with those glasses that have the LiDAR on them.
So I don't know about bigger, but I'll say that there's a lot more investments into AR at this point due to Apple and a lot of these big companies focused on AR. I hear you on AR being a big in the space. I'm always going to be a big fan of virtual reality over augmented reality. Personally, I don't think augmented reality is there yet. So you're asking how long till we get to mass adoption. I think it, depending on what you think is the breaking point for mass adoption, how many people is mass adoption, we're already at over 100,000 devices sold for the Oculus Quest. I'm sure out of all of the Oculus devices and all of the virtual reality devices, we're well over 10 million devices sold. So, to me, I believe that means that VR is already approaching mass adoption. The Quest 2 is now coming out this October 13th at $299. That's the lowest price we've ever had for a full VR headset. I think we're going to see mass adoption between this year and next year for virtual reality. But when it comes to augmented reality, those headsets are really, really expensive. Let's not forget Google Glass was $1,300. Apple's headset is looking to be $1,000, and it was a failure. So look at Microsoft's mixed reality headset is over $1,000. I think any AR headset that comes out is going to be over $1,000. How long until we get AR headsets that are fully functional, have a bunch of games on them, and are down to like $300 like the Oculus Quest 2? Probably not for another decade. So I think we're a lot closer to the virtual reality mass adoption than we are to the augmented reality mass adoption. And to me, even when we start to see augmented reality devices, which I think we're going to start seeing them within the next 2 to 3 years, I think one, like I said, they're going to be really expensive. Two, there's not going to be a lot of games on them. Three, they're not going to be fully functional. They're going to be kind of like that Google Glass, kind of like where it's like, oh, I can have an app that's just floating in the air. I can put my Netflix on the wall. I can be able to put things somewhere and know that it's in that area. But to me, that's not fully augmented reality. Like you said, I want to have my friend sitting next to me. I want to see my friend walk around my house as if he's actually in my house, but in augmented reality. That would mean that you need, like Annalese said, like a LiDAR radar and all of these other type of devices that can be able to not just see your area, but also recognize and understand what's in your area, that there's a table here, that there's a chair here, and understanding what's in your visual space. I think that's a long way away. I think we're about 10 years away from when we actually see fully functional augmented reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 10 years away. Yeah, and let's not forget, with the augmented reality, we have kind of a blurry line, because people use VR in isolated circumstances, right? Everybody's actually sitting in their house using VR. With augmented reality, you really have to be careful, because if you have somebody driving or crossing the street or whatever, you want to have as less distraction as possible, because this can cause actually serious trouble. And I think this is actually one of the reasons why Google Glass failed, is because people were distracted by this augmented reality and were unable to focus on their surroundings. So I think this is a huge issue that we also have to address.
I'll disagree with that point, because of the fact that if you looked at the Google Glass, it wasn't in your eyes. It was a above your eye. It was kind of on your eyebrow. So it wasn't something that was in the way. I think that the main reason why Google Glass failed was one, because it was really early. That came out in 2013. Two, because they had a camera on it, and we were just starting to get into the whole privacy talk and having always on cameras and all of that. So I think that's what was the main thing. I think if Google removed the camera and started with camera-less glasses, maybe they would have gotten more people adopted, came out with some good application, then added camera until later adoption. I think it would have already had a market. They would have already had apps. They would have already had an ecosystem. They screwed up by putting the camera in there really early, and we just weren't there yet.
I think I agree. Thank you.
And if anybody else has any questions, go ahead and hit the ask question button, raise your hand button, and I'll go ahead and give you mic access. It looks like Island Nick is up next. Let me go ahead and give him the mic. Go for it, buddy. Island Nick is not letting you talk. Says it's awaiting consent, so you should just be able to click the mic button and be able to talk.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, it's this hitbox. This hitbox is stopping me from touching the thing. So that was really interesting. Who was it who said that AR was bigger? Was that someone on the panel?
I believe Annalese.
I'd love to hear why you think that. I agree with what Jerome was saying for the most part there. I don't think we're anywhere near early adoption. I would just point out that I don't think that Google Glass failed for the reasons that you listed. I think it was simply culturally the United States was not ready to adopt that interface. Whether we're in that same position now after COVID, I don't know, but I do think that companies like Facebook will have, by the time they're ready to release, done the research required to make sure that their products get to the market in a form factor that allows for mass adoption. I also suspect. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. I was going to just add on to that. I think, honestly, because of Snapchat, we're now at the point where if Google Glass 2 or 3 came out, we would be able to do that, and it wouldn't be as it was back then.
Perhaps. I don't know enough about it to say, but I do think that certainly if there was a company who was going to be able to do it, it would be either Apple or Facebook, and I would put my money on Facebook simply because they have more data on the subject now. I was wondering whether is there first of all, is there a subject for discussion here, or am I free to just ask a question?
Open mic.
Yeah, it's open mic. But real quick to address your question. So yes. AR theoretically is bigger than VR, not as a functioning headset, not like, Magic Leap or any of those, but in terms of filters and making walls around you animated apps. Yeah,
Instagram,
AR is way more used than VR is for that reason,
Understood.
Headset wise, we're not there yet, but there's so many apps where you can go to, a mural that's drawn on the wall, and an artist can incorporate the mural to move if you scan your phone over it with an app. A lot of artists do that. And we
talk about Johnny Dollar. his
there's
AR
actually
art.
One of the paintings in the other room here. There's a artist. He does he's a crypto artist, and he used, I think, Live Art was the app. You scan the painting, and he comes up, the painting starts moving on your phone, and then there's a story that comes after. It's just that kind of use case. AR beats VR 10 times over.
Interesting point.
Sorry, just got a message there. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Specifically ties into why Facebook is in such a good position right now, because I don't remember the name of it. They have a platform for developers to produce their own AR filters for things like Snapchat and Instagram. So I think you're probably right, and that was a very good point to raise, that these platforms that are being developed now are laying the framework for what's going to soon be in their Project Aria product line. And I think that out of all the companies on the market right now, Facebook is just, frankly, they're all in, and they seem to be doing a really good job at making their dream of 1 billion users in VR or AR a reality. What do you think about the privacy concerns and how that relates to broader adoption? Specifically, obviously, I'm talking about the requirement to use a Facebook account when using the new Oculus product line.
Brian,
Do you
you
think?
want to grab this one? Oh, I guess
Sorry, what
not.
now?
I said if you want to grab that question in regards to
I'm sorry,
privacy.
I missed the question. I was
Well,
checking
let me.
to close the notifications.
Assuming I'm not hogging everyone's airtime, again, I've been told I don't know what I did wrong there. I keep going back up here again. Sorry. Perhaps it'd be helpful if I just. Oh, that's why. Gotcha.
Oh, did
If
you
I
want?
talk,
Hold on. Let
no, that's.
me give you stage access. That's what you need.
I just instinctively try and get close to the people I'm talking to.
Here, hold
Yeah,
on.
it's
I
gonna
got you.
kick you out. She
Yeah,
dropped
no,
the
it's fine.
stage blocker. You should be able to walk up
All
here
right,
now.
there you go.
Oh, thank you very much.
Come
Am
join us,
I good?
guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
come
you're
on
good.
up.
So I was asking about Facebook privacy, adoption of VR, and what you guys had heard about it. I think it might be helpful if I speak about it very briefly, and then maybe you could give me a critique of my points. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So my view is that generally speaking, the general user base, has a very poor understanding of privacy, and how it relates to the business model of companies like Google and Facebook and even Apple to an extent. And I think that misunderstanding creates a sense of paranoia amongst people who are technically proficient in some field, but who don't understand how these companies are actually applying the data and have this false sense that they're being targeted by these large companies in a very personal sense. And I think from my conversations I've had on Altspace and elsewhere, it's that fear that it's their personal data they're worried about, regardless of the fact that most of these companies now, as a result of regulatory action in places like Europe, etc., they anonymize the vast majority of data anyway, and they're focusing on the aggregate. They're looking at statistical models to try and figure out behaviors such that they can market to people more effectively. So essentially what they're trying to do is to build a personality type profile, which they may or may not put you in a number of these personality types, and then use those personality types to establish a marketing strategy for you. Now, do you think that the average user, aka not someone who's an early adopter, who's had a Vive since 2016, or someone who's maybe picking up the Quest 2 after having their grandchild show them the Quest, do you think that the average user is going to be worrying about that, or do you think that that's something that only a very small proportion of people are worrying about? And if you think that, do you think that's a positive thing, or do you think that's reflective of a level of ignorance is a strong word, a level of misunderstanding that should be corrected somehow? And if so, is there a clear way that we can work towards that as a community? That's basically, I want to know whether you think that the Facebook business model is good for the VR community or bad for the VR community, and why.
Yeah, personally, I can only talk about the knowledge that I know, and as far as Facebook and the whole VR ecosystem goes, I know that at least people have some reason to be skeptical about at least part of what they have planned. Because take, for example, Horizons, their, upcoming kind of Altspace-ish, VR social platform. They
It's
are going to be
amazing.
recording, everybody's gameplay. So, for example, if you have a issue, say someone comes up and is harassing you, calling you names, bugging you, or doing something that otherwise, you don't very much like and need to report to Facebook. They will, go back and it'll be like a section of recording will be sent to them of the situation, and then like 30 seconds up to I think like a couple minutes before the situation, just to see what led to the confrontation and then the situation, so they can figure out how to deal with it and how to proceed with it. And in that regards, it really, I guess, depends on the type of person. Some people that just want to use it, as like a social platform, see friends, hang out, whatever, they're probably not going to have to worry too much about it. I don't think, at least at this current point, we don't know how, rules and regulations are going to evolve as the technology moves forward, that Facebook is going to try to get too invasive on players, especially trying to, keep around such a large, market, having like, owning Oculus and all of that. But, as far as those that are, going in, trolls or maybe other people that want to, mess around, joke around with people and, try to pull pranks or something, or otherwise, people that, on like the, I don't want to say skeptics side, but those that, just aren't fans of like the idea of like the big company watching over them and,
Big brother.
thinking about,
brother.
like, you're playing the game, trying to talk to your friends and having that lingering idea to like, hey, this is all being recorded. Somebody could be watching my gameplay right now. They could be, peeking in and seeing what I'm doing, who I'm talking to, my private conversations all live and whatever happening. Even though they may not, act on it or doing anything about it, the fact that they're able to collect the information and data and have all this video of,
Scares people.
everything people are doing. Yeah, it definitely frightens
Makes people
some.
very uncomfortable. Yeah.
So I think at that point, it's more of figuring out where the point is of, how to protect people and avoid people from, running wild and harassing everyone in VR, so that way people can enjoy their times, and experience in the headset, as well as not breaching the point of everybody being constantly watched and, recorded and monitored by, whoever owns the headset that they're wearing, and, having that lingering feeling. So there's definitely things that need to be worked out, and I think right now it's just a matter of getting those
Testing.
regulations put in place and trying to limit
yeah.
the amount of power that they hold over,
also-
these platforms. And
I'll
whatnot.
also answer the question by saying I personally think that it's a good idea that Facebook is, using the means that they're going about, like Brian just talked about, being able to record, making sure that you're using your official Facebook account, looking to block fake names. It sucks for the people that want to have anonymity. That's great and all, but Facebook doesn't want you to have anonymity on their platform because of harassment, like you discussed. I've been harassed on Facebook. I've seen plenty of people harassed on Facebook. I don't need to be harassed in virtual reality. It's already annoying as is walking into Altspace or Rec Room and seeing all these little kids, and they're being trolling and this, that, and the third. So to have that control, honestly, as a event host, as someone that does these events in Altspace, I'm a little bit more inclined to doing some events in Facebook because of the fact that I can feel more professional in that environment, know that I'm going to have a lot of reliable adults that are in the room, that I can actually have an open discussion, and we're not going to have trolls and little kids acting like, well, little kids in my event. So I think that it's a good idea. I think it's great for the VR community. Those that don't mind it are going to utilize it. Those that do mind it are going to use other platforms, which is good. That's what, capitalism's all about.
Well, and just to touch on that, I think that it's necessary. I think we need to get to a point where large corporations like Facebook are able to provide these low cost, essentially, they're selling at a loss, right? I mean, I think someone was saying to me that they're selling them at between $100 and $150 in the negative for each unit. So we need a company like Facebook who's able to absorb those initial costs to make mass adoption a reality. And I think that, frankly, the benefits of getting people into a virtualized space like VR, where there's, where I feel so inclined to come up and actually physically talk to you because that's what I instinctively do, rather than sitting on a message board typing memes at how much you don't know something or whatever. I think that shift towards a more personal space, especially in times of COVID, it's crucial. And I think that any company that's able to do that and push that agenda forward is benefiting us in the same way that the iPhone pushes towards smartphones and interconnectedness. I think that Facebook's Oculus Quest 2 is going to be the product that really pushes us to mainstream adoption, and that's only a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I don't know whether everyone will agree with me on that, but I certainly think that all of us here know the benefits of being able to come into a space and socialize when we have to be socially distant. So yeah, no, that was.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing that up and asking that question. Great question. Thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for coming and joining us today. I want to say let's wrap it up. It's already about to be 9 o'clock. I want to be able to, have a conversation with some of you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here. Thank you guys for joining the Futurist Podcast. My name's Jerome. Annalese went to sleep, and we got Brian to the left. We'll be back again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.